Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In this video I'm going to discuss an article coming from Reuters where we feature Dmitry Medvedev, the former Russian Prime Minister and President. And now he's something in a Security Council of the Russian Federation, so he's an important person and you probably heard of him. He makes some threats, or rather not threats, but he will provide an idea of the consequences of the action. So if you do this, I'm going to do this. So if you punch me one time, I will queue up if I can. And Dmitry Medvedev can do that. I would like you to do this during this video. I want you to put yourself in Medvedev's shoes, or if you, whatever country you are, and tell me if you would not talk about the same consequences if you could. You'll see what I'm talking about as I'm starting to read this article coming from Reuters today, January 11th, 2024. Russia's Medvedev warns of nuclear response if Ukraine hits missile-launched sites. What would you do? Let's say you're an American and someone hits your missile launch sites. Let's say you don't want to waste your time. As I said, these guys are losing their patience, I guess. You don't want to hit them conventionally. Would you react? Will you fuck them up? Yeah, you would. Now you can say, well, see, you guys invaded one country, so you kind of deserve it. Well, you invaded about 5 in the first, 30 years, so you deserve what? 5 attacks? So let's don't pretend here that we are on a, whatever, flying high. So let's read further on this article. Now, if you remember who this guy is, right there, here, this is the guy who's talking tough. Dmitry Medvedev, he's like, your time is coming closer. All right. Senior ally. Now, again, this is a garbage start. A senior ally. He is part of the US, not yet. Russian government. Have you ever heard these guys Reuters talking about Mayorkas, or I don't know, Blinken, or Sullivan, Jake Sullivan, or Kirby as one of President Biden's allies? There should be. That's their point. That they're a part of the system. They are in the government. They're supposed to be his allies. But you don't find this. It's like he's one of his mafia guys. This is the connotation of that, a senior ally. Everyone who works in the government of one president is his ally. Otherwise, you're not supposed to work there. You're like, hey, you work for GM, General Motors, and you're an ally of the president. Of course I am, because I'm working for that company. Well, anyway, unless that guy becomes bad, and you don't wanna. So, warned on Thursday that any Ukrainian attacks on missile-launched sites inside Russia with arms supplied by the United States and its allies would risk a nuclear response from Moscow. I suggest this: don't fuck with the Russians, because the Russians are consistent. In good times and in bad times, if they tell you they're going to give you $1, they're going to give you $1. If they tell you they're going to punch you in the face, they will punch you in the face. Most likely. They're very, as I said, very consistent when they say certain things like this. So they're not really making threats without following through with the action after that. So, and these guys should have learned already. So when you hear the mass media saying, they're just macho, it's just they just blah, blah, blah. Why don't you look at their history, at their record, and find out? That's the easiest way. That's how you build, consistency based on evidence, not on blah, 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 blah. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, now Deputy Chairman of Russia's Security Council, said that some Ukrainian military commanders were considering hitting missile launch sites inside Russia with Western-supplied long-range missiles. No, they're going to hit Moscow and the Kerch Bridge, the Crimean Bridge. That's a given. And then they will hit airfields. I guarantee you that. They will try to destroy Russian strategic bombers. They will try to do this kind of things. I don't know if they go. Why would they hit the nuclear sites? I don't think they will go. I don't think they will be allowed by the boss, by Al Capone, to do that. I don't think so. Unless those guys in Ukraine, some faction becomes suicidal. That's how we call it. All right. He did not name the commanders or disclose more details of the alleged plan. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. They know who they are. If they are. I guarantee you they are, because there are some idiots everywhere. Alleged plan, there was no immediate reaction from Ukraine to his threat. They're going to deny or ignore it, which I suggest they would do. But what if the Russians are losing, which they have been doing in the past 2 years, we're told, and they, I don't know, conduct a false flag operation and say, hey, we were attacked by the Ukrainians, just to get a reason, justification for them up, unfortunately, with nuclear bombs or whatever. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen. And I'm quoting, what does this mean? It means only one thing. They risk running into the action of paragraph 19 of the fundamentals of Russia's state policy in the field of nuclear deterrence. That means they fall over there, the policy says that, and that we have a protocol and procedures. Medvedev wrote on the Telegram messaging app, and I'm quoting, this should be remembered. Warning, Medvedev said, paragraph 19 of Russia's 2020 nuclear doctrine sets out the conditions under which Russian president would consider using a nuclear weapon broadly as a response to an attack using nuclear or other weapons of mass destruction, or to the use of conventional weapons against Russia when the very existence of the state is put under threat. Medvedev made specific mention of point G of paragraph 19, which deals with the nuclear response to a conventional weapons attack. Putin is the decision maker when it comes to Russia's vast nuclear arsenal, but diplomacy in Medvedev's views give an indication of hawkish thinking at the top of the Kremlin, which has cast the war as an existential struggle with the West. Well, I don't have to be hawkish to see evidence, my friends, so don't fool yourselves. These guys were creeping, NATO, Al Capone, was creeping towards Russia since 1991. So how do you call that? Nothing? It was just coming for a fuck or something? I'm gonna come tonight, closer. Yeah. Kremlin critics have dismissed some of Medvedev's nuclear threats in the past as attempts to grab attention or to dissuade the West from supplying Ukraine with more weapons. The United States and its allies have pledged nearly $250 billion in military and other support to Kiev. The risk of nuclear escalation has hung over the Ukraine war since Russia sent thousands of troops into its neighbor. Now remember, if the Russians really wanted to do that, they would have done it so far. They didn't have to send over there a million people, supposedly 300,000 dead. The same with the Ukrainians for those guys' interest over there, when they could have dropped one or two things. I'm not pushing for that, but they could have done that, as crazy as we are told they are, which I don't think they are. In 2 years, they restrained themselves so well. I don't think so, right? And they could have dropped one or two and they say, now who's next? Huh? We mean business. And I guarantee you the West would have been like, shit, where's my safe space? I gotta go there. Guarantee you. Why? They have more to lose than the Russians or Putin. Do you think these guys, Klaus Schwab or the Zelensky Steins of these guys, they would just say, you know what? Yeah, let's destroy our future because we are in charge. I mean, you're in charge. You want to take care of your life. You want to live your life. You see your generations after generations being in charge of this planet. Now that you work so hard to get in, in that position, you want to destroy it for what? For Ukraine? Are you crazy? Nah. So they would say, oh, no, time out. Let's talk. Guarantee you that. Now, I don't know. As I said, I don't promote that, but that would have stopped the war right there. The war should not have started anyway, but that's what you do when you come with the hands like this, hands with guns drawn out and come towards the guy, closer, and bring more guns. And the guy's like, you coming too close, you coming too close, you coming too close. and then something happens. See, he attacked unprovoked Ukraine. No, you've been coming towards them with the guns drawn like this for the past, what, 32 years? What were they supposed to do? I mean, since 1991, let's make it what, 30, 31 years, 30, let's make it 30. And you tell, it's your fault? Well, it was our right. Yeah, you could have done that. And these guys reacted the way they told you they will react. And you knew it. So, okay, now what are you going to do? You are okay, but the Ukrainians are going to be decimated. The Russians will have their people, some of them destroyed. And if you push these guys too far, how do you think you're going to win? Economically, you already lost. What are you talking about? You've been losing for the past 2 years. Militarily, you've been losing. Where exactly were you been winning? I tell you where. Special interests. Military, arms manufacturing, banks, and energy. These were the sectors making billions and record profits. And the countries get poorer and their economies go down. How is that possible? Because they get grabbed. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So yeah, he's talking tough, and I would not push the Russians in that position where they will show you that they're consistent. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.